Hi, welcome to Little Willow Homestead. Today I'm going to talk about, we're going to talk about shipping and some really exciting things that I've actually found out over the last few months of shipping eggs. And I am really hoping that this information really helps you guys and that you're able to share it with other people as well. So when I very first started shipping eggs, I really had no clue as to what I was getting myself into as far as like working with, the Postal Service and stuff like that. So I quickly learned with working with a postal carrier that the priority packages, they're used and abused. When they go through the process, they are put on conveyor belts and they go with the rest of the packages, and then they could potentially be smashed by up to 70-pound boxes. And so when I have offered express shipping to customers, it isn't because I want those eggs to get to you any quicker. It is because I know what those eggs are going to go through if I put them into a priority box and ship them to you. In fact, I get sick to my stomach when someone doesn't want to upgrade because I know the potential of what those eggs are going to go through. So anyways, I wanted to share that kind of aspect because it all kind of plays into talking about how to hatch shipped eggs. So learning that, now I have made the decision to only ship express. Express packages do take a little bit less time to get to you, but like I said, my goal is not to just get them to you quicker, they're to get them to you in one piece. And so when you ship a box express, those packages are actually pulled and they're set aside because they're trying to get them to you as quick as possible. And so they don't go on the conveyor belts with all the other packages and drop into these giant bags. And they don't have to withstand and go through all the things that those other boxes will have to. And so your eggs are less likely to have, the damage that they can incur through just basic shipping. And so priority boxes are not, you just basically need to look at them like being shipped just like any other package. So even if they are wrapped with the most care, the chances are they could be scrambled by the time that they get to you. So what I wanted to address with that is not just from myself, if you're purchasing eggs from anybody, it doesn't matter who they are. I encourage you to ask them how they package their eggs and then how they ship them and if there are options. And if you do have the option to ask for express shipping, I just encourage that. I know that it's more expensive and I'm sorry that it is. I wish that it could be cheaper for us to ship these eggs to you and for them to go through express shipping. But realistically, it costs us, the shipper, a lot of money to get them to you. Some of us pay for our boxes if they don't fit into a priority box or even an express box. We have to pay for the boxes, we have to pay for all the packaging materials, the foam shippers, everything. And so we incur those costs, and so we do pass that on to you to some degree. Sometimes I eat that cost. Sometimes I don't get hardly anything back just because I want to make sure that the eggs arrive intact. So a lot of people ask me the question, what do you recommend? So over the course of the last few months, that recommendation has changed a lot. So I would first say, let them sit for 24 hours, then put them into the incubator. Now my recommendation is let them be put directly into the incubator, standing with the pointed side down and the the fat end up and let them sit there in your incubator being incubated and not turning them for 4 days. That is something that is new for me, but it's something that I'm finding that actually is beneficial and helpful. And I've learned this just from the feedback from other customers and from other breeders that are shipping eggs. And so it was always the recommendation for most people anyways, that you take the eggs and you just let them sit for 24 hours and then you put them in the incubator and then they're turning. But we've found that with shipped eggs, they do so much better if you just get them into the incubator, because you don't want those eggs to be deteriorating any more inside of that egg than they already have, taking days to get the eggs to you. And so, for myself, it takes me days to collect the eggs, and then it takes sometimes days for those eggs to get to you. And so by the time you get them, they could be, almost a week old already. And so you want to get those into the incubator as quickly as possible so that that fertility is still high, and hatchability will still be high. And so what I recommend is to take those eggs as soon as you get them, gently push them from the bottom of the foam shipper, gently push them out, set them into a tray that can be put into your incubator, and stand them upright. If you don't have an incubator that holds your eggs upright, I recommend getting one. And I will link one below that I recommend. I've actually purchased one myself. It's actually being loaned out to a local right now who I shared some eggs with. It's her little nature preschool. Anyways, so I have one, and I've done a couple giveaways, and I've given those to some people as well, and they work really well. For the price that you pay for these incubators, you get a lot of bang for your buck. One of the biggest things is that you can set them in pointed side down. They are incubated like that the entire time. You can turn the turner on or off. And it also has an outside area where you can control the humidity with a little bottle that you put water in. And so I just recommend that if you're going to be purchasing eggs and having them shipped, that you just give them the best opportunity to hatch as possible. If you're going to spend the money, I would just recommend spending a little bit of money to get a good incubator that you can hatch in. I do not recommend styrofoam incubators. They have hot and cold spots. They do not control and hold the humidity like the newer incubators, the good incubators that are out there now. There are so many options when it comes to incubators. I personally use the GQF cabinets, but you don't have to use that in order to have good hatches. The Brinzias are amazing. The Brinzias that hold them upright. Now, there are some Brinzias out there that you have to lay those eggs down on their sides. I would not recommend those, just because of, what we're talking about as far as holding these eggs in this position the entire time. And so I recommend putting them in, no turning for at least 4 days. Some people say 7. Some people say that they've had good luck with even going as far as 7 days. Now, I'm not gonna necessarily say that's what you should do. You have to do if you've been doing this, do what works for you. That's the most important thing. If you've been hatching shipped eggs and you have a method that works, keep doing what you're doing. Don't change it. This is for, people that maybe haven't had success and they need something different, or this is something new to them. So you take those eggs and you stick them in, and you want to keep them upright, and you do not want to turn them for at least 4 days. What that's going to do is it's going to get that embryo good and started inside of that egg without being jostled around. It's going to let that air cell at the top settle where it needs to. If there's saddling going on, that will help with that. And then you're going to get that development going, and then you can turn your turner on, and these eggs are going to rock back and forth in the turner this way, keeping that air cell at the top of the egg. And then at lockdown, day 18, you're going to take those eggs and you're going to either, like for me in my situation, I put mine into a hatcher. But if you don't have a hatcher, then, and your incubator is your hatcher, you're going to want to put them into something where they can stay in that position. You want to keep them in that upright position where the air cell stays at the top of the egg the entire time. I've seen the difference between doing it that way and laying them down on their side. And I've had one customer do it both ways, and she had much better success and a way better hatch rate when she hatched them upright. So that's why I'm sharing this information with you guys, because it's worked. I've seen it work, and I've heard a lot of success stories with it working this way. And so that's why I want you guys to have this information. Like I said, take it, leave it. If you've tried something and it's working for you, do what's working for you. Don't change it. But our eggs are, and this is not a real egg, by the way. This is actually it's a wooden egg. It's a fake egg. But our eggs are super thick shelled. They have super thick coatings and they have super thick blooms. Not every single egg, but a lot of our eggs. And when you have that combined with shipping them across the United States and all that jostling that goes on, it makes it difficult for that baby to get out of that shell. And so we want to make sure that we give them every opportunity to be able to bust out of this shell and hatch. And so keeping that upright helps them. I can't tell you the scientific part of it, of why it works, but it works. And so this is what we're going to recommend. And I also recommend for my eggs personally to incubate at 100 degrees that's with a fan inside of there. So that's basically if it's got that moving air inside of it. And I do 28% humidity. And I know for a lot of people that when I tell them that, it's a shock to them. The reason being is, and this is not just because of shipped eggs, this is just eggs in general, our eggs in general. Our eggs have that, the thick shells, the thick coating over top of them. That's that layer of color. And then they also have really thick blooms. And so it's very difficult for these shells on our eggs to lose moisture. And so if you keep that moisture too high, what happens is when that baby goes to pip inside of that air cell, if there's too much moisture, they will actually inhale that moisture and they'll drown. And so it's really important to keep that humidity low so that they can lose that moisture inside of the egg. And when they pip inside of that air cell, they're able to actually get a breath of air and not a breath of liquid and die. And so 28% humidity and 100 degrees is what I recommend for our hatching eggs. So once you get them into the hatching area that you want to put them in, you can use either like little pieces of toilet paper roll, or you can use paper towel roll cut down. You can use egg cartons with, I've seen like the bottoms of them cut out where it's just basically just enough to hold them in that upright position. You want good airflow around them as well. I haven't looked into trays that you can put inside, but I'm sure that there's something out there that you can manufacture and make into whatever you need it to be in order to keep them in that position. Some people have said, oh, well, you can just, turn your turner off. Now in some you may be able to, and I'm not sure about others. So you'll have to, make sure that the babies aren't going to fall like a long distance when they hatch out of the egg. So you're going to put them in there like that, and then you're going to leave them, obviously, leave the incubator closed. You're not going to mess with it. And our recommendation is to bump that humidity up to about 40 to 45%. Now, I say watch the air cells, because it's really important that you pay attention to the air cells, because I can say, oh yeah, hatch it at 40, 45%, but your air cells might not be big enough, and still even incubating at 28% maybe wasn't enough, and so you need to hatch a little bit lower. You know, it's really important that you pay attention to the size of those air cells. So it really depends on that as well. So once you get them in there, you want to leave them in there, and you don't want to mess with them. A lot of people love to open those incubators and pull those babies out as soon as they hatch or as soon as they fluff up. I do not recommend doing that. And the reason being is, if you've ever watched a mama hen when her babies are hatching, sometimes she will peck at those eggs and she'll talk to them. You can hear her clucking, you know, as those babies are hatching. She's speaking to them. She's, you know, basically telling them, come on, it's time to come out. And so if you take those babies out of there, they're not going to have that encouragement from those other chicks that are in there cheeping around and banging up against the eggs and stuff. A lot of people are concerned about that, but that actually does encourage those babies to hatch. And so if you watch a mama hen, and I know this is so not natural, what we do with these eggs is not natural like what a mama would do, but you want to try to mimic it to the best of your ability. If you watch a mama, she'll be cheeping around, or she'll be talking to those babies. Well, and like I said, she'll even peck at that shell to help those babies out. So it's okay that those babies are in there jostling the other eggs around, and they're in there cheeping, and they're in there pecking at those eggs. That's okay. That actually encourages them. So it's okay that those babies are in there jumping around on the eggs, kind of jostling them around a little bit, because that will actually encourage those babies to pip and to hatch. And so a lot of people think that, oh, it's going to hurt the babies. No, it's not. It's not going to hurt them one bit. It's not. Even if they're in there, all over them. And, if you have them in an upright position like this, they're not going to be able to knock them around anyways. And so it's just important to keep that incubator closed and let the hatch happen. I have left babies in for almost 3 days, and they do perfectly fine. I pull my babies out. They're nice and fluffed up. They're ready to go. I get them into the brooder. I dip their beaks. I give all of my babies Chick Boost water, and so they get that good boost of nutrients, probiotics and vitamins, minerals, all that good stuff when they very first start. So anyways, I wanted to share that information with you guys. If you have any questions whatsoever about shipping eggs, hatching shipped eggs, or anything like that, please leave a comment below. I will check the comments and I will respond to the best of my ability. I thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, you can always message me on Facebook as well at Little Willow Homestead. So thanks for watching, guys.